Hello and welcome. Today I would like to share with you about a man named John Gutenberg. John Gutenberg is a famous inventor in history most people know about, but there's a very interesting part of his story I believe a lot of people do not know about, and that is what I want to share with you today. John Gutenberg was born in the year 1394 in the city of Mainz in Germany. He later on moved to Strasbourg as a result of political instability in his hometown. There he was able to invent the printing press. How did he do it? He spent 20 years of his life toiling over little oblongs of metal. All he had to do was arrange the little metal oblongs in ranks and files tightly, with ink spread lightly and evenly over them. With this done, a sheet of paper pressed down over those ink letters would produce the image of the oblongs of metal in the same sequence with letters faced forward. The letters make up words and the words make up a page. But the question now is, why the hell was this man unable to succeed in life despite coming up with such an amazing invention? At a point in his life, he was faced with a choice whether to get married or to use the available resources he had to carry on with his printing. Ultimately, he decided to carry on with his printing, foregoing the idea of getting married. This created problems between him and his fiancée, and as a result, his fiancée sued him for a broken promise. And as a result of the lawsuit, he lost most of the money he had kept to invest in his printing. It's quite amazing that the very first book he decided to work on was the Holy Bible. In 1450, he moved back to Mainz and started another printing press. It still failed because he had gotten involved in debt. He had borrowed 800 guilders from a man named Johannes to buy tools to carry out his printing, while he was still working on a project to produce the highest number of Holy Bibles ever produced in history at the same time. John Fust sued him for his money, and as a result of the lawsuit, he lost everything, including his printing press, his tools, and everything he was working with. And this brought him to a point where he almost gave up entirely. But being the strong man that he was, still kept on trying. He managed to borrow some money around to continue with what he had started. But the problem is that at this point in time, there was already a lot of competition. Printing, which was invented by John Gutenberg, spread throughout Europe like wildfire within a very short period of time. There were many other people doing the same thing that he was doing. People who would not remember or even think of the fact that they were actually succeeding in printing because of what Johann Gutenberg had done. But unfortunately, he finally died in Mainz at the age of 74, a business failure, but his invention lived on. Today, only 50 copies of the Gutenberg Bible still exist, and each one of them is priceless. How important was John Gutenberg's invention? The Protestant movement would not have succeeded were it not for John Gutenberg's printing. Martin Luther, who we all know about, was not the first person to attempt to reform the church, but others who came before him ultimately failed because they didn't have printing to rely on as Martin Luther did. And because of this, Martin Luther greatly revered Gutenberg. Another very important achievement of printing is that it promoted the need for universal literacy. Prior to John Gutenberg's time, People didn't see the need to go to school at all, to study or do anything that had to do with reading or writing. The few books that were available were only accessible to the small class of intellectuals that existed in those days. A larger part of the population didn't see any need to go to school. Another very important achievement of printing is that it led to the immortality of human knowledge. Now, prior to John Gutenberg's time, a war or a disaster such as an earthquake could lead to the total destruction of any available knowledge. Scholars such as Aristotle, Socrates, and Archimedes almost had their entire work lost in certain disasters and wars that occurred in history prior to Gutenberg's time. The moral of this story is never ever give up. Love what you do for the impact it creates in other people's lives. Doesn't matter whether you actually make money out of it or not, but what you're able to accomplish by actually impacting other people's life, by impacting the world around you, is what really matters. That is what lives on forever after you're gone. So no matter what you're doing, just keep on doing it with compassion, with enthusiasm, with love, for that is what really matters. So if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to invite you to please like, share, subscribe for more amazing videos and stories of this sort. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.